All right, guys, what's going on out there? It's going to be Donnie coming to you from Pinku Style Massage Japan. We got my guy in here, Joel. Let him introduce himself a little bit. Basically, for you guys, again, keep sending those questions, which I actually haven't got any yet. So I'm not going to fake like I got questions from you guys. You can send your questions to podcast at Pinku Style, podcast at PinkuStyle.com. And then I'll, if you got any particular questions that I haven't answered, if I've already done it before, I'll link you guys to where I've answered the question in detail. I'll touch on it a little bit, but you get more. I don't want to repeat it for the guys who have actually been here and been paying attention, so to speak, and everything. So before I get into Joel here, again, guys out there, like I said before, guys who are doing businesses and different things out there, different ventures. Most guys who start businesses are like, we're kind of all the same where we do our own thing. And then you kind of get stubborn and shit and you think you don't need help and things like that. And I was like that. I was a guy like that. I didn't borrow anything from anybody. I didn't do anything like that because I didn't want to be in somebody else's debt, man. But like Joel right here, he offered, he's actually Pinku Style right now, as you see it. He loaned me a lump sum of cash to actually get the contract, believe it or not. And if it wasn't for him, somebody else was closing on a building at the same time, and they was like, dude, you got to get this cash in, which they were BSing because you know how they sell stuff and like, yeah, hey man, somebody's gonna come in today and pay for it. Mm-hmm. So the dude kind of did that, and I was like, well, he could be bluffing, he could not. And I hit Joel. I was like, hey man, is that offer still out there? Because Joel was like, yeah man, 10 minutes of talking, and he forwarded me the cash, and just 4 years later, well, about 3 years later, about to be 4 years in, man. So again, man, he was like, I had Carlos on last time. And there's a couple other guys that, initially when I started up, I kind of talked to him about the business. And Joe was one of the first guys I talked to about starting everything up and everything. And he said right there in Truck and Cubic, he was like, yeah, man, if you need some floater cash, man, just let me know, man. So again, man, just like seriously, like, thanks for that. We don't talk a lot because I know you got stuff going on and I'm always there every time you hit me up. But that was definitely, it was kind of a pride swallowing thing. And you were already, you could talk about how you got started up and everything. So, man, just getting into it, like just, tell them a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and you don't got to put your age and stuff there.
Yeah, so, over 40.
Yeah, over 40.
Just hit that
40 and over club, man.
Yeah, good times. My name is Joel. I came out of Florida, got to Japan back in '96, very end of December. About to come up on 23 years being out here. So that's most of my life. Yeah, kind of like Carlos was saying, he's been in Japan more than he's been in America. Yeah, I'm getting into that boat. Also, like Carlos was saying, the whole going back to America is like cool, good to be in America for a little bit. Now I'm ready to go back home to Japan because that's what I'm used to now. Got my own house now. Got 2 kids, a wife and a dog, and house paid just got paid off in September of last year, I think. It wasn't this year. It was last year. It was a whole year though. But my house paid off now, so that's a good, happy place to be. Yeah, I probably screwed up by paying it off because I had to pay a big chunk at the end, and Japan's interest rates are not as crazy as the States. So I could have probably just kept that money, done good things with it, made better money off of it than what I got from just paying off the house. But it's good to be done with the house and not have to worry about that now too. Yeah. But I was a weapons loader when I was in the Air Force. Got out in '99, just 4 years, 11 months. Yeah. And so
done. What made you adjust myself a little bit? Like, what made you want to get out? Did you already like have some other plans, or you just were?
Yeah, I was kind of knowing that I wanted to get out, and then when it came down to my last 4 months, whatever, I was like, well, I don't really have a job lined up, and man, maybe I can actually just sign up. And then, so a lot of people that don't know the Air Force things, they don't know about the CJR, career job reservation. You actually have to go and sign a piece of paper. I bet now you don't have to because everything's on computers. But when I got out in the '90s, you actually had to go across the street to the orderly room, sign the paper, say, yes, reserve that job for me. So they offered me that, but I never signed it because I didn't know that I was supposed to go over there and sign it. And it wasn't something that would
supervisor didn't tell you?
No, well, maybe he did, and I just didn't pay attention. Yeah. But once I found out, you can't still sign up anymore because you've already done that. Like, all right, cool. Well, that's just an option that I thought might have been there, but if it's not there, cool. I'm gonna stay here then. And then silliness happened with not really getting all my terminal leave when I had my 60 days, and finally within I was just getting ready to ship all my stuff back to the States, and I called the terminal, so the base mobility command terminal. I went and interviewed for a job there. I never heard anything back from them. It was the day before all my stuff was getting shipped out. I'm sitting there with my girlfriend, who's now my wife, with 2 kids and everything. And I called the terminal. I was like, hey, yeah, just checking because I'm leaving tomorrow, or all my stuff's getting shipped out tomorrow. So it's going to be my last chance to stay here if I'm going to stay here and be able to cancel
Right.
it. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're just getting ready to call you. And that was actually like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
This month-ish.
Yeah. So what'd you do? What'd you do at the terminal initially?
I was just freight when I started.
Freight? Okay.
Went up into the I went full time first. So when I first started at the terminal, I was making $8.32 an hour, living in Japan by myself with no housing.
What was the yen rate back then?
Anything.
What's yen rate like back then?
Oh, it was fluctuating a lot because it would jump between like 150 and 75 for the whole time that I was here. It's been between those rates. Now it's been right around 105, 110, whatever now. But yeah.
Yeah, I remember because when it wasn't until 3 years in when I first got here that I didn't pay attention at all. So I just pulled cash out. Yeah. And then I was like, damn, when it started going down, I was like, fuck, man. Because then I was like, what? I noticed I was getting parts, but I was only spending like, because the yen rate was like 100. I think I remember seeing something like 140 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But now I was like, man, 140, that would be.
I think it might have gone to like 160 or something at one point because I remember I
know you could pull up.
I looked the historical stuff, but I didn't pay any attention to it back then. I was just like, yeah, it's the money that I'm getting. Whatever.
So when I got at the PAX terminal, it was 70. It was like 72, 69.
Yeah, that's rough.
I'm like,
that's rough.
And I was, the PAX. I mean, you weren't making like a lot of money, man. So
no.
But yeah, man. So then like you got out the military, did all that stuff, and then I know you got into like the more in like the network side of stuff. So you were already doing that before.
Was that for computers
yeah.
and stuff? No, I didn't do anything with computers until I got to Cubic, really. And that was just because I was one of the briefers. I was talking to the pilots when after they flew and whatever. And then since I'd already been working around that kind of stuff, I met some other guys who worked in the SSR gig. And once I applied for the job, and I asked one of the guys that used to work there when I was applying for the job, what should I put down for the desired salary? And he gave me this number that was like, whoa, that's a ridiculous number. Right there. That's like more than twice what I make right now. And he's like, yeah, but that's like the average starting price. And I was like, okay. Yeah. But I threw it down, the number that he told me to throw down. And then when they, within like a couple weeks, since I knew enough people that they knew me and they knew I wasn't a complete piece of junk. And yeah, this guy would probably be able to do the job. And we need somebody in that location right now. So they threw me a bone and was like, yeah, we'll hire you for this much money. And it was actually $5,000 more per year than what he told me to put down for my recommend. And there was like 15 minutes of me just like out of body experience kind of. And I was just like, really? That much?
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's where I got started. I didn't even have my certifications at the time. Yeah. Didn't have a college degree. And you're supposed to have all that to do the job. Right. But I got my certifications within a couple months and was good to go.
Was it all out of pocket or did you have to,
for the certification?
Yeah.
I think I pretty much paid it for myself because that's a requirement for you to have the job.
Right.
So I just called it. I'm not going to even try to squeeze him about that. Yeah, because it was like, oh, you're supposed to have this already. Yeah.
And this like it was just Network Plus and Cisco.
No, just the Security Plus.
Security Plus.
Security Plus, and you're supposed to go through the steps A Plus, Network Plus. You're not supposed to really, but that's like it's supposed to be a transition to get you into it. But if you can understand Security Plus and you can do the job, or not the job, but if you can pass the test, you don't have to have those other ones as prerequisites.
Yeah, I was supposed to get because when I was the CompTIA, they finally they had just launched a new website. I was in high school. I was computer pay electronics. So we actually had a program where you could do the test for free. Right. And the only thing you had to do is you had to sign up for it and you had to be there on Saturday morning at the Prometrics. You had to take the test. I'm like, man, Saturday I'm working or whatever. Yeah. And it was something I could have got it for free. And then also, if I would have got it back in that time frame, I would have been grandfathered in because now everybody else have to research.
But if
did it change again? Or?
Well, so yes, you can have it and you could be grandfathered in. But if you, I don't know if I think they actually make you have the continuing education. But I mean, it's not hard. It's hard to keep that up. Yeah,
I will believe so because around the time I was doing it was 98. Second edition was the hot stuff. XP was just about to come out. Actually, I think XP came out right as I was. XP came out, what, 90, 99, 2000?
Maybe something like that.
Yeah, so XP was about to come out.
Right after ME. I think that was the millennium. That was 2000.
That was horrible. Yeah. That was a bad one, man.
98 was fine.
I made a lot of money on Millennium Edition because everybody was like, oh, it's crashing. And it's like, dude, I was like, just go back to 98 second. Yeah. They was like, what do you mean go back? It was better to go back, or the Windows 2000 NT was pretty good, but it was NT didn't have problems. It was just kind of, it was more complex. Like I had all the debuggers in there and all the logs and stuff like that. So average people, they didn't. I mean, it wasn't for playing MP3s. It was for network stations and stuff like that. So, but yeah, man, that's what a lot of my people were like, dude, you like, I don't talk about it unless I'm with another computer guy.
How to do these things? It's weird.
Like, but obviously, even like we was talking about with Carlos, man, was the even like this computer over here. I was in the computer store in Hachinohe, and I was just about to put another one together, and I seen this was $500, and it's like everything was the industry standard for that time, man. It was like $500, and it's already ready. I just plug it in and it got software on it already. Right. So it's like, it's kind of to the point now where unless I think you're building a PC for like some spectacular, I mean, you're building a PC for games that are coming out 2 years from now. Yeah. It's like you can buy or just go to Tiger Direct and just processor, motherboard, blah, blah, blah. Back in the day, like when you were doing computers and stuff, were you like actually, you say you didn't start till like you got in that job, so you didn't do like any old.
So for me in my job, I don't actually have to know much about computers. That's what blows people's minds. I don't mess with building my own computers or any of that stuff. When I first started this job, I kind of thought, oh, this is going to be hard because I've never really dealt with computers before. But then once I started doing the job, I was like, wait, I'm fixing computers for United States Air Force pilots. Yeah, that's not really the top of the food chain of smart guys, and I'll tell these guys too. They all know. So if there's anyone watching right now, they know I'm talking about Wombat. So I'm not a really sharp computer guy. I know what I need to know to do my job. Again, with the Air Force, you got TOs that say this is how you build it. It's ridiculous the things that I have to build. You take a disk. It says take the disk that's labeled that, blah blah blah. Put it in the disk tray. Close the disk tray. These are all the TOs. It actually tells you to close the disk tray. When it pops up, you're gonna have to say okay on this button. It's like basic low level stuff.
Like you're saying, that's the army proof, man.
So I'm way easy at doing this job. If people try to talk to me about computers, I'm like, I don't know a whole lot about all those things. So I'm not a computer guy.
That's the thing. So when I met you, man, it was you were I mean, you and Carlos like talking about stuff. I thought I just thought you were that's I just thought you were like always. You seem like you were always into it and everything, tech stuff. And you were like, hey, man, you got the latest. Like when I first met you, man, you were like, hey, you got this app? I was like, nah, man, I don't got that app for it. That's many moons ago, though, too. It's like couldn't call it. Apps or also videos, man. Like you're always like, hey, you see that video? I was like, nah. Yeah. And then I got into it. When we in that truck, man, there was a lot of stuff like the Sharknado and and we were watching like the Takeshi's Castle
movies. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because there's a lot of time out there and everything. Yeah. They had all that stuff. So anyway, like the biggest thing we kind of like jabbed you on was you said the PDAs and everything. So what was the plan with that stuff when you got?
So the plan was to mess with them and actually the
tablets and.
Well, yeah. So most of it was a bunch of cell phones. So Japanese models of cell phones. If you repair them and sell them to people in the States and they're unlocked, you could probably make some good money off them. I didn't really do much with those, but I bought them because it was like $20 or $20 to $40 for like 20 of them. So I was like, small price to pay to play around with something and see if it's interesting to me. And once I messed with it a little bit, I was like, nah, I think I still got it in the closet. Yeah. So if I ever get the bug again and want to start messing with them, I got some antique cell phone nows, whatever. That kind of fun things. Yeah. Well, like my early times in Japan, I've always been looking for like ways to hustle and make a little bit of money off of finding things around. And back in the day when Spirited Away first came out, the anime Spirited Away, it's Sento Chihiro. Okay. It's one of the Hayao Miyazaki, I think, one of his things. Well, anyways, they came out with this box set that was a CD player, and it was DVD player with the movie in it, and it was like the special model from that movie when it came out, and that movie was crazy big, popular in the States. So I could buy it in Japan back when the yen rate was 120 to $1. I would buy these players, whatever, for it was like, I'm guessing it was like 18,000 yen, and it got me down to maybe 125 to 150 to buy it per piece. And then I could turn around and sell them on eBay for $200 a pop. Or if they bid it up, it'd go up to like $250 or $300 a pop. You can't even find those anymore. So I've got one left out in my shed, and it's probably worth $1,000 or something, and I just haven't found the person for it. But I made a good bit of money off of it, and I went to Toys R Us over in Hachinohe and was like buying up everything they had. I think I found them online one time. I bought like 10 of them just because I'm like, cool, I'm going to run this into $750 or something real quick. It's fine.
Yeah. It's like, it's that window, man. It's the window.
Yeah, you got to get the opportunities when they're,
then like, then somebody will find out, you'll maybe mention it. Then they'll be like, oh, I can do it. So like, it's a bunch of small stuff, man, where like guys will try to get on like the bandwagon. And by the time that happens, it's already saturated. Then like back when you're starting doing it, like the e-commerce wasn't, like Amazon was not really, Amazon was just selling books at that time probably.
Yep.
So I remember Amazon came out, that's all you associate Amazon with was like the Kindle and the books.
It was mostly just books,
And then they just blew up on that. So
now Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world.
Yeah, man. But it's basically off of this, everybody needs something. And like the thing about it, like even with this, when I started this up, man, everybody's calling me dumb and like, you know, you're a gaijin in Japan starting a business. I'm like, dude, everybody, like now it's like emails are doing good. I mean, it's not, it could be, I mean, sometimes I get rates where it blows up and then other times it'll be like a silence week. Yeah. And then I'm like, fuck man, what I'm gonna do for this month? And then like, it'll be like this week, I got like 6 guys. Yeah. Like, hey, I want to ship a car. And then this, so then what it happens is like enough of them to chime in. And like I tell everybody, cause I mean, it's some people who just want to know, need to know at a bare minimum to sustain Shop House. And, you know, bare stuff is like $6K. Yeah. So if I make more than that, then I mean, that's money I can put back into other stuff or whatever. And so that's what I tell the guys. I'm like, dude, like it's 3 years. You see it take 5 years to like get into that, like the
happy spot.
You get into like that where you count the first plateau and then you need to go up to the next level. Yeah. So I can definitely see it, man. But a lot of guys, man, they don't see it. And then like when they actually make a good amount of money, they just think they're going to sit on it. I'm like, dude, you got to make that money work for you. Yep. And a lot of people, my wife don't understand that. I'm like, dude, yeah, the bank, there is 20K in there, but you're not looking at this shit. I got to, you know, moving here, paying this. And then like, then that 20K that goes, I mean, you can blow that on one thing. Yep. And I mean, even though I don't do that, but you know, a lot of people got to
expect for the worst. Anytime something could happen, if there's another, knock on wood, hopefully there's not another earthquake coming up anytime soon. But that could be terrible. That could mess up so many things.
Even when I got here, that's the first questions I asked. I was like, when the flood happened, did it? He was like, yeah, because I actually checked the building, there was no damage. Right. So I was like, I'm not even going to buy. I mean, the space was awesome. But I was like, before we even get into it, like, did it get so flooded? Close to the ocean right here too. Because my buddy shop in Fukushima. Yeah. He does exotics, Lamborghinis, Ferraris. First week they were setting up, marble floor, flood, straight everything. Yeah. So they just moved in and had to break all that stuff down. And get rid of all that stuff, man. Yeah. So, but yeah, man. So like, I mean, in a markets, I know you follow the markets pretty good and stuff like that. Are you doing like your side things you're doing? Are they like in conjunction with the market or kind of just like side stuff?
So yeah, I jumped on the real estate stuff for a little bit. Yeah. I bought some land over in Colorado, just wide open vacant space. I've got like 50 acres out there that I spent a small amount of money for, not a huge amount, and I should be able to at least double my money if and when I sell that stuff. I got a website up to sell that stuff too. I kind of put that on the back burner now because I'm actually learning under this guy that is like 2 steps under Warren Buffett from learning about investing in stock market kind of stuff. So I'm kind of figuring out how to do short-term trading and roll into long-term trade and actually be able to buy and hold for good amounts of time. Because there's a lot of the guys that are in the value investing that regularly make 20% a year. There's some of the badasses that actually made like 28% every year. Yeah. And when you can compound on that kind of money, it's ridiculous. It's life-changing kind of stuff. So you can do really well with that. So hopefully I'm going to figure this stuff out in the next few years, not have to work, even though my company right now, my job, I get paid very well. Yeah. It's not too stressful. So I'm not hurting to leave this anytime soon, but I always like to have that possibility to be able to jump off if I need to. And as long as I can get this investing thing going right, then it could be very good. Yeah. And I know Carlos was talking about Tesla on the last podcast. And I thought I mentioned to you before, because I've been telling some people about it. I actually jumped on Tesla back in the middle
before the Joe Rogan podcast.
No, not that far ago. No, this was, I mean, it's ridiculous that I'm talking about stuff that happened in June is when I first jumped into Tesla. Yeah. And the stock price from Tesla dropped from, I think it was $216 a share at the time. It dropped down to $209. I just got my money from my last company, which was on the same job, but it's a different company. So once you separate from a company, if you've got like a Roth IRA that they go invest in mutual funds, indexes, that kind of stuff, you can actually tell them, okay, go ahead and pass that back to me. I'm going to keep my own self-directed IRA.
Right.
So I just got a big chunk of money, and I pretty much put just about all of that into Tesla. And when I did it, the share price was $209 per share. I sold options against the shares that I bought, and so it's multiples of 100 kind of shares, and that's options you can. I was doing like a covered call kind of thing, and that's where I sell options to someone else who wants to be able to buy the share price locked into a certain price in the future. So when I bought it in the middle of June, it dropped the share price that I paid for it from $209 to $199 because it was $10 per share is what they gave me to be able to buy it from me in the future, which was 1 month out at $220 per share. So if you say that's 100 shares, that's $20,000 that I just put down, 19 whatever, 19,000 blah blah blah, and in the future, so 1 month out, they're paying me $10 per share, getting my cost basis down to $199. But now they're saying that if this share price gets over 220 at or over 220 a month from now, I will be able to buy that from you for that price. So even if it goes up to like 250, they'd be able to buy it for 220. Well, right after I bought it, it jumped up to like 225, like within a week or two. So I then bought back those options because they paid me money for them. So I paid them money back for them, which was now a higher price. But I also sold more options into the future. So another 3 month or another 1 month forward. So now we're kicking it up to the middle of August. And I locked in at 230, but I got to pocket $5 per share out of that. So it's kind of like if the options that I'd sold in the beginning were $10 a share, and it jumped up to that price, maybe it's $14 per share now, but the options that I sold in the future were $19 per share. So I had to pay the 14 out of my pocket, pull back 19. So I got a profit of $5. So my share price went down to like 194, 195. Okay. Anyways, long story short, I bumped it out to 230. I bumped it out the next month to 240 because the share price got up to like 250. And at that point, I was like, nah, I'm not messing with it now. So I actually went back to the States. And while I was going back to the States, the share price was dropping a bit. It got down to like, it was actually at 215.
You went back during that, like the hurricane or something was going on?
No, it was the middle of August. Okay. At the same time, my company was doing a get together back in Utah. Okay. And on the way home, I actually landed at the airport at like 3:50 in the afternoon, East Coast time, which is the stock market's closing at 4 o'clock. So on my cell phone, I jumped on there and I closed all my accounts. Ended up pocketing a few $1,000s. But anyways, I got out of the company at $215 per share on Tesla. Fast forward to last month, Tesla's share price went up to $250 per share.
So it's not going down.
Well, it doesn't matter because I got out of it at $215 per share. When the share price went up to $250 per share about a month ago, there was a day that the earnings call came out and they actually made a profit. Tesla had never made a profit yet. So once they made that profit, when the market closed, they announced, oh, we actually made a profit this quarter. The share price jumped up $50 right then. That's $300. Then up till now, it's at, I think it's like $315 per share. So pretty much what I'm saying is if I still had Tesla stock right now, that'd be an extra $100 per share in my pocket.
That's the thing, man. It's like, it seems like
if I'm talking about 100 shares, it's more than that. Right. But if I'm talking about 100 shares, that'd be $10,000 that I left on the table. Wow. So yeah, I'm like kind of kicking myself about it, but also once I first bought Tesla, I knew that it wasn't really a value stock that I should be buying because it's not. The way you should buy stocks is you look at the company and you understand that this is the value the company should be at. Then you find out when the market's doing stupid things where the share price drops for no good reason whatsoever. There's been a bunch of times that this has happened in the future or in the past. And usually every time that happens, the share price comes back within a month, 2 months, 3 months. And you don't worry about month to month. You want to worry about 10 years into the future. Okay. And then that way you'll be able to make the 20% per year.
Right. Because when you're playing, because most guys when they're playing the stocks, they're not into it for like, a year. They're trying to, it's a long haul.
Yeah, and that's their problem.
You don't make any money. Like if you're just going for a year and then pull out.
If people are trying to do quick things like that, you're not going to be able to make money in the long run because you don't know when the market's going to make that decision. Right. You don't get to choose that. If you're worried about that kind of stuff, so that's what I could go deep into like
Yeah,
efficient market
hypothesis. That's what it's for, man.
Efficient market theory and stuff. There's people that come out. There's a book out called Random Walk Down Wall Street, and it pretty much states that the market is at any point that you buy or sell stocks in the market, it's priced in perfectly. There's no disparity in the market. It's going to be that point. That's the price that it should be.
Right.
So that's what you're looking at. And if you talk to Warren Buffett, he's like, that's dumb. That doesn't make any sense. Warren Buffett's pretty rich. He makes good money.
Right.
He understands how the market actually works. Right. And the reason why they say that doesn't work is because if you look at 85% of the market, it's actually mutual funds and those kind of people that you can invest in when you're in a pension not really pensions, but like if you go into a mutual fund, there's a manager that runs that fund. He's competing with all other managers. They're looked at month-to-month basis or quarterly and that kind of stuff. So if the market goes down in that quarter, they're freaking out and they're like, oh, I need to get out of the things that are going down and get into the things that are going up so that my numbers for this quarter are perfect.
Right.
That's 85% of the market. So you don't want to try to be like those guys. You want to do your own thing. Those guys are worried about what happens next month, this month. If you see something crash in the market and you're buying a company that's going down, you should be happy because now you can buy that company for lower prices. As long as you like tranche into it kind of thing. If you buy portions of it and don't overspend your money.
So pretty much what you're saying for like that, man, it comes down to like, I get like a lot of people, there's so much, you get YouTube, you got everything is, even CNN, everything is moving to the online source because most guys everybody's mobile. So you really have to pay attention to like current events and how about the presidential elections and things like that?
Yeah, you don't want to do anything crazy when some big thing like that's about to pop off. So the way that the guy that I'm learning from pretty much says is you want to go in and actually look at the kind of companies that you can understand. You don't want to go into companies that are too far beyond what you understand, which you can figure out, and you want to get a company that's not going to go away in the next 10 years. So like some upstart coming up, there's probably not a good track record that's going to tell you this company is going to be around for a long time. If you look at the past, like the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the stocks, I don't know exactly how many, I can't remember how many stocks it is in it, but it's pretty much the number that they used for the Dow Jones number is a group of stocks, maybe 20, and it's each of those stock prices. The companies that it's using for that group has changed constantly since many moons ago. And the big companies from the past that they're like, oh, this company's never going to go anywhere, those are gone now.
Right.
So there are some companies that were really popular before, like again with Amazon. It wasn't around in 1995, I think is when it started. Yeah. So now it's the biggest company.
And then
out there,
like for example, like a company like Amazon, like say when Amazon first starts, like to what point or what, I guess it's kind of like even in Japan as a business, like you get the LLC, you got to have, it says you got to have at least like 10K or something like that untouched that ain't a part, just 10K in your bank account. Then at that point you can apply for LLC. That's all it takes is 10K.
Yeah.
As far as like
I don't think that's the same for the States.
Yeah. Though, for the what is it like? What level of I guess income you declare? Because I mean everybody doesn't declare everything, taxes and stuff. At what level? And then of course we'll talk about that, like the whole thing about them making so much money and they're not paying zero taxes.
Yeah.
The at what level of money do you make like a McDonald's or Nike that you become like a tradable commodity, I guess?
I don't know exactly how all that works. Yeah. That'd be getting into how they get incorporated and can actually do an IPO and put out their stocks and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm not really sure about that far.
I'm pretty sure to me it just seems like the easy. I mean, it's just like if you're making a shit ton of money and everybody knows it. Yeah, like it's like people want to come in. They gotta they're gonna get the taxes and it seems like if they're being traded, because like Amazon is a it can be, you can get stock and stuff on Amazon, right? Yeah.
So it's like they're making like $1,500 per share or something like that. And it's actually at a good value still. That's another thing that people don't understand is the share prices are a random number. That's like saying, Donnie, would you like a slice of pie?
Right.
Do you think it's going to be big or do you think it's going to be small? Right. You don't know. Yeah. It's what piece of the pie that you're getting. And that's what stocks are and share prices.
And the company itself, I mean, if say people, like I said, I mentioned the Tesla thing when Musk went on Joe Rogan and he smoked the weed or whatever. Then everybody went crazy and I mean, and actually for that week, people like backed off, and then after that it became like a people start signing on. So it's like you never know.
He's good for thrills, and the market goes up and down. That's one of the main reasons why I got out of it, was because he would come out with things and
weird things,
and it would be like, okay, this is a good announcement. The market should go up, and that day the market went down. So you were never going to understand. That's another thing Warren Buffett says is, Mr. Market is like your crazy neighbor that lives next door to you, who's outside yelling at the top of his lungs a crazy number, and it's a number that he'll sell his house for or he'll buy your house for.
Right.
Now, sometimes he's going to say a crazy number that doesn't make any sense. Other days he's going to be like, cool, this is an interesting number, and I think I should buy that. It's because you understand the value, then you're going to know that's a good price. I should jump on that. And then just be able to come with a plan, and you can kind of figure out how to make money in the stock market. And you can use things like options. A lot of people don't use options. They don't understand options, and they think that they're scary. Well, options you can buy or sell. I think there's a number like 90% of all options expire worthless. Well, if you're the person that's selling the options, you collect your money when you sell that option for somebody. You get a premium from them. If that option expires worthless, what 90% of all options do, you now just get to keep that money. You have no obligations on the backside. Right. So that's where you can. It's pretty much like selling insurance, because you're insuring someone else's stock, or because there's puts or calls, so you can do it on both sides. You're going to ensure that they can buy a stock at a certain price in the future, or that they can sell their company for a certain stock in the future, or a price in the future, which is a lower price than it's going for right now. So like if you say, oh, I want to buy Amazon at $1,500 per share, you can actually pick out an option that would obligate you to buy the stock from someone else at that price at some point in the future that you can pick out, and then you will get paid to take that obligation from somebody else. But if the share price drops under that price, but you already know that's because that's, like, again, the stock market shouting out some stupid number. Oh, it's shouted out 1,300, so that guy just sold you shares for 15. Well, guess what? The company is actually worth more than that. It's just the stock market did something stupid. Like if you go to Chipotle Mexican Grill, they had
Chipotle is traded.
Well, yeah, they're a trading company. They're actually worth they're worth $750 or $800.
All those college students, man.
People have to have the burritos. But so they had a problem with E. coli back in the day, and that freaked everybody out. The market crashed. Chipotle went down big time.
It probably went up when the Jared guy went away for the
that's Subway dude though. It's like his problems. He actually came to Masal before too. That guy was
really
different things, whatever. But anyways, Chipotle, when it went down for E. coli, that was valid. That's a reason for the company to go down. They came back. They knew what they were doing. Within a year, they had a norovirus outbreak. Norovirus is something where if somebody touches a doorknob and they are sick with norovirus, they're going to get you sick. That happens at every single restaurant. There's a big bunch of restaurants. It's not just a Chipotle thing, but everybody saw, oh, Chipotle just had E. coli problem, and now they have a norovirus problem. So they're all thinking that that's the same thing. It's not the same thing at all. So the smart people that knew, oh, norovirus doesn't have anything to do with E. coli. That's a thing that everybody goes through. It's not going to be a problem. They'll clean themselves up. They'll toss out everything that they have and be good next week. So people that knew what was going on was like, okay, this is an event that just happened that is not going to actually affect the company in the future. So within a few months, the company popped right back up. So you just got it at a discount if you jumped in when it went down.
Right.
As long as you know a good spot to jump in, then you'll be able to do okay with it.
Same thing, kind of, because again, I just kind of know, like, being the market, how to certain. This is like current events. So like when the for example the Nike deal, when the whole the dude the taking a knee guy, the quarterback
Kaepernick,
dude, so like when they put out there that they're going to do a partnership with him, and they got paid endorsements. Everybody was like, I'm off. I'm not wearing Nikes no more. Then other guys like, okay, buy. So I guess and Nike, it didn't even like go down. I believe it just it kind of went. That thing shot it up.
It's another thing with like all news is good. Or no matter what the news is, it's going to be good for the company because their name is out there.
Right.
So it's that kind of thing. Yeah.
So I mean, it's I guess if you're already making a shit ton of money, because like for example, when I just started out, that's why when I do it with my customers, I'm very selective about what I do and who I deal with, because me being a new company, I can't take that guy going around town bashing me right out the gate, because they're gonna be like, all right, well, I'm not gonna go there. Right. So like now I've done enough good work that even when somebody else talks shit, it's like, nah, dude, you're totally. No,
you're okay. You're beyond that.
Yeah, like the guy's like, bro, he did this, and this for me. And you're talking about a valve stem.
Yeah.
Like, no. So like they just shut. So now my customers shut people down from me.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's cool. But
Don't
yeah,
have
man,
to
like,
speak up.
so basically for the, like for stock, cause I mean, I definitely, once the business really gets to the point where I'll have a steady, like where I got money in, cause right now I haven't tell you the truth, the tax money, I spend it and I just pay it all at the end of the year because I can't, I'm not making enough money to just take my taxes and then
right.
every time, because it's recorded. I mean, 400 there, 300 there, 200 here.
Yep.
So at the end of the year, they're like, well, between the how much I spent, how much I put out. Last year, for example, I actually ended with a deficit because it was I didn't pay anything. Yeah. So like they actually, and today, my wife just said they did not my permanent residency because of that. So. And I'm like, I was like, whatever. I'm like, I got a 5-year visa. Yeah. Japan is about, if I come out this year and break $1 billion, I guarantee you I'll get that permanent visa.
Right.
Like straight up. And I was like, she was like sad face. I'm like, look, Japan is about, it's a lot of businesses here, but a lot of them are just making enough to, I guess, stay open. Right. But they're not making enough money to put that money back in it. They care about tax. Yeah, definitely. So she don't understand market. She don't understand business. So I'm telling her all this stuff and like, I'm like, look, man, this is how everything works and stuff like that, man. So, but everything is going decent, man. But as far as like, one thing I wanted to ask you, man, is like, again, for somebody who's like looking to get into stocks when they have expendable cash, and you want to put stuff in there, and it's not where it's like you put the money in there and it's like it's your life savings and stuff. Right. Like, what would you to get started? Somebody out there that wants to get started in stocks, like what would you tell them? Like, is there a certain company that you look at trading for or buying into, or just
not really? I know Carlos was talking about Acorns and that stuff. Those companies, they may be good. I haven't really dug into them too much, but what I've heard is like some of those companies, they do free trading, and they actually motivated the rest of the market. So all the brokerages out there like Schwab, TD Ameritrade, the E-Trade, all those kind of companies, Interactive Brokers, these guys have all, at the beginning of October, they just announced that they're going commission free. So there is no cost for making trades on any of those stocks, on any of those companies. And that's some of those companies that was like 15% of their profits. So this is like hurting them, but all of them are going to have to do this now because of Acorns and Robinhood and those kind of companies. Those companies, Robinhood and Acorns and Webull, I think is another one's name, they seem to be good, and they'll take small amounts of money and they'll invest into whatever stock you want because they do like fractional shares. But when you send your money to them, they're like, cool, I'm going to take this $50 and I will give you some kind of portion of that stock, but we won't know until I actually make that transaction. And I'm going to do it sometime in the next week. So they don't lock in a certain price when they do that. So you don't know what price you're paying for that stock until they actually execute.
And it says, like, Brooke, so like when you do yours, like is between, I guess when you buy in and stuff like that, you have to go through a broker, or you can go.
Yeah, I've used E-Trade for the longest time, and they also went with the same.
But you're paying a fee. You pay a fee too.
No, I don't pay any fees for it. You just put your money in there, and as long as you don't have some kind of like services that are a bunch of weird things, like you want real time trading information. If you're on TradeStation, I think, but then again, TradeStation does some benefits for military as long as you sign up through like TradeStation Salutes, I think is the name of the thing. It's free for first responders, military, veterans, all that kind of stuff. So that's a kind of good thing. But I actually threw some money at TradeStation, signed up under the TradeStation Salutes, but the company is kind of different. So I wouldn't recommend TradeStation, but they do have little benefits for military. Yeah,
take a time on that.
Good. All right. So yeah, with the application, Robinhood, Webull, and those kind of things, they don't really lock you in a price immediately where the market is or whatever. And like with if you do go through E-Trade, and now with the new commission free trades, you can get your stocks through E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, Interactive Brokers, Schwab, all those companies are free now, and you can pretty much put on an order and say, I want to do a limit order. So if the share price is jumping around, it's around $25 and you want to spend $25, you don't do a market order, because a market order might lock you in it higher than you want to pay. You can say, give me that share at this price, this many shares of it, blah blah blah, and now it's free for those trades. Where before, if you bought one share for $100, it would cost you say $5, $10 for that to put that trade on. So you're actually paying $105, $110. Then when you turn around and sell it, if it goes to like $150, you're gonna have to pay another $5 or $10. So it's taking out of the $50 that you would have had profit, you're now losing $10 to $20 of that. So now that they have the free commissions, this is kind of the good time to jump in for anybody, and you can lock into any of those companies. they shouldn't charge you any kind of fees for having the account. They may have some weird backdoor fees when you try to leave, and yeah. But you can put money in any kind of amount, do the online transfers to get your money in there, and you can put on a trade and get out of the trade. So if you buy a share for $50 a share, and then it goes up to $51 per share, and you bought 10, you were pocketing $10 now instead of having to pay the fees to get into it, get out of it, and that stuff. So
have you seen anything about the? I mean, you know, like, you know, that's more you do like the American stock market. Yeah. So like, does Japan do stocks at all? Or
yeah, they have the stock market
sure
too.
They fluent in.
Everybody's kind of scared of stocks in Japan. They're getting more into cryptocurrency kind of stuff and whatever.
Next, man.
But you can make money in Japanese stocks. I think there's some big traders. There's a guy named I don't know if Jim Rogers is in it. He's an older guy that actually lives in China. But who is doing? There's some other big traders that are big value investor type guys that are actually finding value in Japan right now, and they're like, okay, cool. They like to do I forgot what the rates are, but there's the share price of a company should be based off of the money that they make, their earnings and that kind of stuff. And if you can find a company that within 8 years, the earnings that it makes in those 8 years pays off the same price that you just paid for the stock, that's a really good buy that you should jump on. If you can figure out the value of the company, say it's $100 is the value you should shoot for, and you can get it for $50 a share, that's awesome to do that. And that's where you should be buying that company, or somewhere in between there too, if it's at a good price. So there's some companies in Japan that are actually really low on their earnings per how much compared to the earnings that the company makes in a year and how much the cost of the stocks are. It's a really good window right there of opportunity. And you can kind of figure out the value of a company based off of the stock market by taking the market. You can see how many shares are outstanding on the company, and you multiply that number by the share price. And that is the price that you would have to pay to buy that entire company. So you can kind of dig into the financials of the company if you get like annual reports and that kind of stuff. It gets kind of tedious, but there's specific numbers. If you grab these numbers, you can do some formulas and find out exactly what that share price should be at. And you can see when the market gets messed up, when it gets stupid, jumps up and down and stuff. And when it's like oversold, you can actually sell things against it and make money when it's too high or when it's too low. And then you can also do different kind of options trades where if the market just keeps going down the middle, stagnant, you can make money on both sides of it, and you can still be making money when the share price stays the same time, same place the whole time.
So let's say like if you want to, like, you know, you got your money invested, it is, you know, you make it, you see pretty much, you can see how much money you're making. But when you go to like pull out everything, when you see, I mean, if you're using a broker or whatever, app or whatever, when you go to say, I guess I don't know how the correct terminology, but when you pull your money out, like how soon after you pull your money out do you get your money?
It's just like when you're pulling your money out for a transaction from an account. Yeah, you should see it. Sometimes they'll say 3 to 5 days or whatever. But
when you initiate the pull out, is it initiated on the day of that?
It depends. It depends how your market's set up. I think you can actually have like check writing privileges on your accounts and that kind of stuff even. So, and then and Carlos was also talking about like margin accounts and stuff. It's better to stay away from margin always. Where you're getting money that isn't yours. Because they're pretty much letting you borrow money. And like what he mentioned the other day was with a margin account, he said if you have $10,000 and then you want to spend $20,000, they actually give you another $10,000. Well, they give you crazy rates on those, so it's worse than any credit cards. And then also if the stocks start going down and they start worrying about their $10,000 going away, they have the right to sell your stocks for whatever going rate it is at that time, and then take their money off the top. So you get your money back from what's left, but you don't get to choose when you're getting out of that stock because they have the right to sell your stocks at any price. That whenever they start feeling uncomfortable and you don't give them more money to make them feel comfortable, they could do some weird things with that.
Gotcha.
And so, like if you look at some of the movies that came out in the past, there was a movie called The Big Short. It had Christian Bale, Brad Pitt, Ryan Gosling, I think. There's some other big name people in it. Steve Carell, 40-year-old virgin dude. Yeah. All those guys were in this movie, and it was pretty much based on the housing crash in 2008. And it actually shows leading up to it where a lot of these guys kind of figured out what was going on. One of the actual people that this is based on is Michael Burry, who was Christian Bale's character when he ran a fund and he had ultimate control of the stock, or I'm sorry, not the stock, the funds in the company, and his investors were like, no, this market's crashing, and it's because the people that made them these instruments, and it was credit default. I forgot what it was. CDOs is what it stands for, and it's like credit swaps against the real estate market, because the real estate market had always gone up,
Right.
and it was based off of a bunch of lies. There was nothing really backing all these things. And there was people getting loans for no reason at all. People just walking away from their homes towards the end, and they were like, yeah, my house just dropped in value so much, I'm not even going to pay this monthly fee because I can turn around and get a new house for way cheaper because the whole market just crashed.
Yeah.
So there was that guy, Michael Burry, his the owners of his fund, or some kind of like the higher up the board or whatever, were saying, we're going to make you sell all those things because we're losing money. Because at that time, I think even like the Moody's and the banks, they made these instruments and they were like artificially pumping it up so that it was still profitable, where he took the other side. He took that it was going to go down. The housing market actually started dying, and the values were still up high. So they started coming to him and saying, we're going to have to get some more money from you for margin. And he told the people, yeah, you have to give them this money because these are going to be profitable, but we have to wait. And they were freaking out. And that was a thing where that's like the margin account kind of thing. Because he went margin because he knew there's no way that this is going to live.
Yeah.
And it's not safe to do margin. He was working with crazy amounts of money, and he's at a whole another level. You don't need to be in that world because you're not at a whole higher level.
It seems like it's easy. I guess anybody that's looking to get into it, basically in a nutshell, I mean, just for listening to you, if you're looking, like you said, Warren Buffett has been doing it for well over, what, 30, 40, 50
He started in the 30s, I think, so it's even... Or,
he's still alive?
No, that was the 30s. Okay, I'm thinking about somebody else when they were born. He started in like the 60s.
Yeah,
he started
in the 30s, like, goddamn, man. He's like fucking Highlander,
He was born in the 30s.
Yeah.
And he bought his first stock when he was like 11 or something, I think.
Yeah, man.
And he was a paper delivery boy. When he first started making money, he figured out ways to make money and all things. He was a big time hustler. Yeah, too.
So it's like, I mean, like anything, man. It's like those who get on the train first, or on the train before it even gets to take off and everything. Kind of like sports bandwagon people hop on it. Don't
here's something else.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about Warren Buffett, and he's been doing it for a while and he's still making crazy amounts of money. Warren Buffett came out and said, this was probably late 80s or mid 90s or something like that. He said, if I only had $1 million to trade with, think about that. That's a crazy amount of money for most of us.
Yeah.
He said, if I only had $1 million to trade with, I could make 50% a year every single year. I guarantee it. The reason why is because when you buy and sell stocks with a lower amount of money, because right now he's got what, 200 billion, $60 billion, something like that. I think it's actually Apple.
It makes sense to buy.
So when he wants to buy and he wants to make 10% on his money, there's a lot of companies out there that he can't get into, because if he makes an investment into that company trying to make 10%, he would buy the entire company.
Right.
And there would be nobody else left to buy that company to make the share price go up. So he also, if he wants to get into a company and get out, like he's been an investor in Coca-Cola for the longest time. There was a time when Coca-Cola was going down, and all of his investors for his little fund thing that he had, Berkshire Hathaway, they were like, why aren't you getting out of Coca-Cola? He was like, because I'm so huge. If I start getting out of Coca-Cola, it's going to cause the stock market to crash.
Right.
If I want to get in and out of stocks with my billions of dollars, it's going to take me like 3-4 weeks or maybe a couple months, where if you only have $1 million, again, going back to only $1 million, you can get in and out of the stock market in like 8 seconds. So that's where you actually do have a edge over the big fund managers when you don't have a lot of money, because you can get in when you see the market going up, and there's indicators that'll tell you, okay, this is happening, this happening, this is happening. That means the market is going to go up. That means that these big fund managers are starting to get out of something or get into something. So they're starting to get into it when you see it going up with these 3 arrows. Once you see that, you know you need to get in, because the market is about to go up, because they're not going to be able to get into it really fast. Because if they get into it really fast, they're paying a crazy amount of money, and they don't want to do that. They want to get that low price, so they aren't going to buy it all at one time. But they're going to have to gradually get into it. If you see them start getting in where these indicators pop up, the market is going up. Jump in. Once it hits the 3 indicators telling it it's going down, that's when you need to get out of it because they're starting to sell, and it's going to go hard once they do that.
So one of the guys I watch, like when I'm in the thing, is one guy, Patrick Bet-David, the Valuetainment, man. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he does, like, you know, all those guys on YouTube they do the business stuff, and like they'll lure you in for like 5 minutes, like, oh, if you want to know the rest, you buy my this guy puts out shit for free, man. Like like great. I mean, pretty much I watch him to see what I am doing correct, and some things I might not be doing, I'll add that in there, which pretty much is just like, you know, you're a single guy, you don't have a major team behind you, like how handling customers and shit like that. So I watch him a lot, man. And one thing he was talking about was just the he started getting into it, like he was saying, like, you know, there was, you know, the market crash, the furloughs, the market's crashing, stuff like that. So he was saying, like, pretty much every 10 years there's pretty much a cycle. And he right now his all his posts now are hard towards, are you ready for that crash? Me being in Japan, I don't know how to. Well, it's like a lot of my customer parts buy from American companies, so then it's like, what's going to happen? Those prices are going to go up. Then they can't get things like that. I mean, that's on a small end, but
it shouldn't.
How is that? Like for your stock stuff, when you hear stuff like that and people saying, like, you know, this cycle 10 years. Like, what do? You stay in?
Right now, I'm mostly in cash. I don't have a lot of money in stocks. I got a few Apple that I bought way long time ago. That's my biggest holding, probably, is Apple. I got some Hershey stocks that I've had for a really long time. And it's actually like, I've made 3 times my money on Hershey. I think it's 3 times. I made like 1.5. So my money plus 50% on top of that from the Apple stock that I bought, kind of, sort of, about that. And I've bought and sold Apple in the past, bought it, watched it go up once it hits a certain point. And I never really had a plan before. I just was like, oh, this is a good place to jump off. And I had no clue why I was doing that. Now I actually have some ideas of how to analyze the stocks and figure out, okay, this is a good price to jump in up to this point. Once it hits this point, I need to chill out. If it gets beyond that, that's where I need to sell. Then again, and another thing Warren Buffett always says, again, going back to that guy, the best holding time frame for any stock is to never sell it, to always keep it, because you never know. If it never gets to a stupid price, then you want to just hold on to it. And if it keeps getting earnings, your value of your account is going bigger and bigger. So if you ever need to, you can sell it, but why would you sell it if it's going to keep going up? So if you ever sell something, that means you're going to put your money into something else that's probably better. If there's nothing better, just leave it in there.
So how many stocks, like, because again I'm going to get into it for sure, man. Like how many different companies would you I guess have cash or stock in, or like, well, what I'm trying to say is, how many you think is too many, or how many, like, if you just don't want
you shouldn't. So a lot of people try to say diversification is the key.
Right.
Well, diversification means you don't know what you're doing and you're speculating. You're just throwing in a bunch of things. If you know this is a good bet right here, why would you put it in 20 different stocks? This is number 1. Here's number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Why didn't you just put it all in number 1 if you know it's that good?
It's taking $5,000 and splitting it 10 ways.
Yeah, if you split a bunch of time, a lot of people tell you to diversify. That means you don't know what you're doing. You might as well put your money in an index fund, because you're pretty much buying the market.
Right.
If you over expand it going out, that's like something not a lot of people tell you, that you need to put your money into like one basket. I'm not saying to put it into one random basket that you don't know nothing about. You want to understand. If you understand like 10 to 15 companies, you actually have to be able to dig into those companies, understand them, know a lot about them, know them like the back of your hand. You don't have to know the thousands of companies that are in the world. You only have to know the ones that are interesting to you, things that you understand, something that you know about the company. You know it's not going to go away. You know that the company's owners are kind of good guys. If they're not, is the company strong enough to be able to survive the people that aren't that good and wait for the real manager to come along that's going to be good?
Right.
I think I just saw, who was that? Some company just stepped down. I think it's the CEO for a Gap. So I'm not really interested in jumping into Gap or anything, but I may look into Gap because their CEO has been screwing up for years. They finally got rid of him. If they bring another guy in that's going to be really good, that could be something interesting to jump into if that company does good.
So when the guy gets out, then it lowers the buy-in? Or?
No, because it's so the CEO that they've had is a piece of junk. He's not a good guy. The company has been going through that for this long. Gap is not a bad company. It's known around the world. People prefer to shop at the Gap, that kind of thing. I mean, we live in Japan, so we don't see a lot of that, but it is for America side. And Yeah, so it's a kind of good company already. If they get a good CEO in there that knows what he's doing, that could motivate the stock to go up.
Right.
So right now the stock price went down because they're finally going through these motions and figuring themselves out. And they're probably going to take a little time to get themselves back on a good base to start with. But that could be a spot to jump in at. And I just have to look into the company a little bit and figure it out. But yeah, if you analyze, say 5 companies right now, you're starting out, you want to grab some car parts types companies and that kind of stuff, you can just start analyzing those companies, figure out, is this good enough, all these different pieces. If there's ever anything that's not good, then just throw that one off to the side and start looking into another company. Once you find out that it's good, you understand the company, it's got a strong business and the management's good, then you just need the share price to get to the happy spot for you to jump in. And then that's all you really need to keep going. And then just keep looking into the company, make sure nothing weird's happening. Understand what's going on with the share price a little bit. You don't have to even look at the share price that often. Just pretty much you have to understand the companies more than you have to understand what's going on with the share price, because you know the value of the company by looking at its financials. So you don't need to invest in a bunch of different companies. You don't need to look into a bunch of different companies. You just have to go into the few that you understand, and then off of those you can make a lot of money.
Roger that. So that's what I was gonna. I mean, so that I was gonna ask you, what's 3 things you would tell a person that's getting into it? Because the reason I'm asking, because I mean I'm learning about this stuff like on the fly. So I would say like your top 3 things. I mean, I would say probably number 1. It seems like is not investing into a bunch of companies. So like, what's like 2 or 3 other things that you would say to somebody who's new getting in, don't do, or any mistakes you made and things you're like, I shouldn't have did that.
You probably want to get started as soon as possible to understand companies, and like that doesn't even mean you're going to start buying. You just need to start understanding the companies, figuring them out. If anybody's in Misao, I can help you out with that stuff. I can show you kind of how the things go. The things that I've spent money on, I could kind of explain it to you. I'm not going to try to charge you money to figure things out. But it's, if you can understand the companies, to get started now, know what you're doing, start stockpiling your own money, get ready to be able to buy in, because that's another thing is that there's a Shiller PE number that kind of shows the value of the stock market, how the stock market's working. Once it hits a high point, that's when you can tell that the market's going crazy and it's about to crash. Right now, the Shiller PE is at a point that it's never been before. There's only 2 other times in history of ever that it has been near this point. And one of those times was right before the Great Depression crash. And the other time was I don't know if it was 2000 or 2008, because I don't know if it was when 9/11 or when the housing market crashed. One of those 2 points. We're in the third one of those. And every time it's been a crash. So the market is going to crash in the future. There's a lot of quantitative easing going on right now with the Fed. So they're pretty much printing money. They're trying to keep the market happy. That's why the market's going up. How far is it going to be able to go before it crashes? I don't know. Every time it does this, it looks like the market's going to keep going up forever. That's what it's going with the index funds. Again, going back to that guy, Michael Burry, he predicted the real estate market crash. He now says index funds are going to be the new crash. So I think that's what he said exactly. I'm not sure, but it's something to do with there's so much money being pushed into the market for now. Even like pension funds are putting money into the market because they know that they're not going to be able to make the money that they need to make off of bonds, which they usually do, because there's a lot of people that are going to retire in the future and they have to get a certain amount of money. And those pension funds understand now that, if we just leave our money in bonds, we're not going to be able to get enough money when they retire in a few years coming up, whatever. And so pretty much he says the market's going to crash because when people push their money into these index funds, there's no price discovery, which means that they don't really choose what price they're buying in at. It just buys. So then the people that are looking at the index funds see the price going up because it's a supply and demand thing. If people keep buying, people that are selling just keep upping the price and they just keep buying. So the stock price goes up. So now all those people that have been buying index funds see the market going up and they're like, cool, that's the place to put your money in because the price is still going up. There's a bunch of buyers. There's no sellers. There's a slight number of sellers because every buyer has to have a seller. But the price keeps going up because there's more buyers. So now when you get to the other side of that, when people actually want to pull their money out, when those pension funds actually do have to start paying out their people, they have to pull their money out. There's no price discovery. Again, they're not going to choose where they want to sell. They just say, get it out. So now there's going to be way more sellers than buyers. there's going to be buyers, but they're going to be like, okay, I'll buy down here, and they go to it.
Right.
I'll buy down here, then they go to it. So
Right.
the market is going to crash
Right.
when it hits that point. It's something like that. I don't know exactly how he's explaining it. You can look it up on YouTube. They've got a few videos out there that say what Michael Burry is talking about. And he's saying that's going to be the new crash. So good to be in cash right now. Good to know the value of companies. If you get a good company, you're going to be okay. Because even if it does crash, it's coming back. So have enough money to jump back in again if you see it drop.
Right. And like on that kind of like to transfer to another topic, kind of like closely related, but not off it. But the so we just mentioned crypto. Like, you've done any crypto at all?
I bought in a little bit when I first started, but again, with crypto, the reason why I'm not getting into crypto is because why are you buying it? Yeah. What price do you think it's going to? Why do you think it's going to that price? There's a lot of things that you should be able to dig into. It may go sky high. I don't know where its stopping point would be. Yeah. But again, it's supply and demand. So if you're buying it and everybody else is buying it, who's selling it? When it does sell, people need their money or that kind of stuff. Yeah. Again, don't ever go in with more money than you can afford to lose.
Because it was just a few. It was like, I mean, on my timeline, it was maybe about five guys, man, who were like this. When that was it this summer or last summer? When it was just like that 3 weeks where everybody was talking about crypto this and crypto that, and
dudes
were buying, dudes were buying. Then from that Bitcoin came out, then it was like everybody started making their crypto. I mean, even fucking Akon is a Akon has he got his own crypto that he started up in Africa and shit. So it's like everybody, it's like it became a fad. Yeah. And then I did see guys like, I mean, they're like, no shit, I bought this car with the
because it jumped crazy.
Yeah. But it was like if you weren't in.
Too. I knew a guy that put like 10,000 into it, and his money went up to like 400,000.
No shit.
I kind of mentioned, I didn't really have any real basis to tell him, but I was like, yeah, you're gonna take some of that off the table and just like go get your money that you initially put in. Now you're playing with the house money, something like that. He's like, no, this is gonna be a long term play and everything. And he got it, the money crashed, or it crashed. It got under his 100,000, but it rolled back up to his 100,000 again at least. So he's still at least at a starting point, but he was also like making big plans on what he's going to do with that money or something, and he was still trying to invest with it. So you got to have a plan when you're investing. So if you're looking to buy into something, what's the reason you think it's going up? If you can figure out that it's going up for a good reason, that's for me at least. I'm going to get into stocks when I see them at a good value. Something.
So they totally like crypto and stocks. They're totally different entities.
Well, what motivates a cryptocurrency to go up? It's going to be it takes a lot to make them, to mine them, and that kind of thing. Yeah, and it's going to the processing power on the computers that you have to actually run. It costs more to do those now. Yeah. Like even old chips are like still crazy high prices. You can't buy old chips because you can still use them for crypto, and the values were still pretty high. I don't know. I'm probably talking about something that was from a year ago and stuff because I kind of looked into it. I bought some of it and then I played poker with it or something like that. I don't know. I was playing around because they have some.
Because I was about to, man. Because it was like, man, like I'm watching all these people post up and it's like, it only costs as much to get started and everything. And it's like it's like one of those things because they was like, they were on it. Like one of my buddies was telling Carlos, I can't confirm or not, but I believe he was before. I don't know what he knew, but it was about 3 weeks before everybody started blowing up on Facebook about it. Yeah, he was already posting about it. So it probably wasn't unknown to those who were in that lane. And then shit, man, I think not even 4 or some months after that. I can't confirm or not, but I believe the guy bought a Tesla. Yeah. Pretty much with cryptocurrency. I'll ask him, man, because I said it twice now. Yeah. So I'll ask him, man, but seems like he's a pretty smart guy with his money, and he puts it in there and invested in one.
At one point you could buy Bitcoins for $1 a coin or whatever it was, and you always find the guys that'd be like, oh yeah, I was going to invest in that, but my wife told me not to. There's one guy at work that was telling me this stuff before, and it's like, all right, if you say so. Yeah. Cool. But yeah, never know actuality until you see the Tesla driving by.
I'll see if you got that, man. But it just seems like there's so many different ways to again the reason not the main thing I got you on there for, man, was to because a lot of guys out there, it's a car channel. Yeah. But what do you need to buy car parts? You need money. So it's like, you take that instead of or that car you have, and like a lot of guys like, hey man, you might have to take that car, sell it, take half that money, put it in something, or if you're going to start a business. Yeah. I sold all my cars, man. I sold a lot of the cars to sustain and get to the next level where I'll be able to buy that car and more shit. You know, and that's where that's where I'm at, you know, right now. Never really was bad with money. You know, I didn't spend it on anything bad. So I mean, I can account for, because I got the numbers downstairs. I can account for every dime I spent in the last 3 years, because it's either went to my family or to this business. I haven't bought anything that's just been like, oh, let's just buy this fucking poster,
random things,
a pink Ranger. I don't buy anything random, man, because I mean, not saying I don't want to. Oh, that's look cool. Let me buy that shit. It's just,
there's a lot of people, like, especially in the military. You see a lot of these guys come in and they never had a nice paycheck like they got now, and they're living in Japan,
and you got the benefits,
and they're getting the COLA, and that's about to drop next month. I just saw an email today, $180 a month dropping down from what their COLA has been. Back. I mean, they're still the top
even the
place up here, so they're good.
Even the like, I mean, it's again, the way I don't know stocks. I mean, I want to learn this stuff too, because I think it's something that you should, as a business. I'm a business guy, so I should know what's going on with the market, because it definitely affects me. But one thing is, like, I'm looking at things like, you know, for example, when I started the business, again, I mentioned before, I started a business right at the 25-year mark. So I would have started like 4 years prior. It would have been a dry spell. It probably wouldn't have lasted, because it would have been like, what am I doing to sustain? So they start buying all the cars. So I studied that. So it's kind of like, I guess, studying the market. Then the government pulled out for 2 months shipping cars. Dude, it went from my guy told me, hey man, the government stopped. Dude, the next day my fucking box, I knew it. My box was flooded. It was good for like 2 months. I mean, I'm like, fuck, man, I'm about to pay this guy back and pay this back. And then like, oh yeah, the government shipping again. So that stopped. But I didn't, even though going in.
You roll with the punches on that.
Yeah, I roll with it, and I didn't go all in. I didn't like,
right.
I didn't say like, this is it for life.
Don't overextend. Don't overextend.
So just like you said, man, don't count, just make sure it matures a little bit. Then you go on. Because we talked about it before, and then now they want to win. But now, again, the governments will ship it, but you got to get it to Yokohama. Right. So again, it's coming back up. So the base being right there, if I relied on the base only, I tell guys again, if I relied only on Masao Air Base, I wouldn't have made it.
Right.
I mean, because if I would have just did that, I would doing international sales and things like that. So again, I definitely know once I get into it and learn that system that I will, it's kind of one of those things. It's kind of getting started. I think what everybody's afraid of is like, I don't know about it. Everybody gets in, you don't lose money. Unfortunately, you're going to lose some money. If you buy in the stock or you don't buy in things like that. So it's a risk, but I mean, at the same time, hey, if you live to be 75 and, you got that cash and you could have put it in, and now, like you're saying, oh, I should have went in when I was $1. Yeah. Now it's, so
can't
it's a risk.
Dwell on the old either.
Yeah. So it's like one of the things I'm pretty sure, like I say, man, it kind of, on that, man, it's like, you seem like you have like I know you were doing the shirt. You're still doing the shirts on Amazon for people?
I mean, I'm doing it more for people that I deal with. And just like the squadron that I work with, I hook them up and get the shirts made, whatever. If I see some random thing. But it's money. Happens,
it's
I can
money, man.
Post up a new Trump shirt or something like that. That kind of thing. But
I just don't. My thing when I'm getting at about that, because I mean, you didn't have to do that. I mean, you make enough money.
It's free. It's free to do it too. So I mean, why wouldn't you?
And they don't. The thing is, it's like all you do is you upload a picture, you send them a link. It's like, even when I did actually after you told me, I did the same thing to my site. But the thing about it is, people, they know about it because it's smart. Everybody's smart now with the internet. They won't buy it because they know I don't physically have the item. So they don't like, if I put a table full of shirts, I guarantee I'll sell those shirts because I physically have them right here.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying about though. At the merch by Amazon thing, you can actually drop the price down to a really awesome price for you. It's like cost. You can get it in your shop. Right. But then the shirt that they see on the other side is at the retail price. So you can have them for a lower price than going. So then you can actually get all of that profit. Right. So you can kind of game the system and make things work. And that's another thing I have in my back pocket is I've got the ability to make those shirts. I can actually do like local business things. Like I could go to Tubes. I could go to the bars. I could go to the little restaurants downtown, little kids places, that preschool over there. I could go hit those guys up, and I can actually like get them to buy shirts and get them to be able to buy, or actually like, so the businesses that rely on the base or that deal with the base, I can go to those guys and be like, hey, I'll give you a contract where I can make a shirt for you. You can have your own shirt in your window. You can have your own on hand, and you can give these guys a link. And then when they buy it online in the Amazon.com site that ships to the base, you can get a cut out of all the profits. Out of that.
Right.
So it's different businesses that I have in the back pocket that I'm able to deal with, but I'm not really worried about those businesses, but it's something that I could do. So it's good to have those things. And then when I do stop working in this job, have my own thing going, I can actually start pursuing those other things.
Right, just side shit.
Yeah,
it's
things that I have on the side because I don't really need to do them.
Right,
but
right.
Whenever I need them, they'll be there.
Yeah, it's better to have more options than none. You know, that's the thing I look at too. And that's why again, as the extra cash comes in, and one thing I got my VA stuff. I mean, I earned it at 80. I did it all straight up. I didn't lie about anything. So I don't feel bad about my 80% because I just put my records on the table and I said, this is all I'm claiming. And he was like, cool.
And that's what they should give you anyways. You signed the line.
And I didn't do.
You put your life on the line.
Yeah, I got out 2012, man. And I didn't do mine until 2016.
Yeah.
So I was told, and that again, it goes back to doing my homework. Yeah. I was told by somebody else that, hey man, they're gonna pay you back. And I fucking told my wife and everything. So I was like, shit, I'm about to get like 72K, man. And I told you about it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck, I shouldn't have said that because she was like, oh, we're going to do this and do that. I was like,
big dreams.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to pay this stuff off. And then like, I pay your car loan off. And then it's like, nah, you get paid back to when you submitted your thing. So it was like, I got back pay. I got like 12K.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't, it came in a perfect time because it was actually, I mean, I needed it for the business and pretty much that 12K got spent in a week, man.
Immediately.
It was because one thing, my Gaijin tax, we were like, honestly, I mean, I keep it real, man. We were like fucking 2 months behind because they let you get a certain amount of time behind. Yeah. And then they'll be like, hey, man, what's up? Yeah. So we were paying it every time. And that shit's like, it's like $300 or $400 a month, something like that. So we're about 4K behind. So we paid that. And then they were
lump
cool.
Sum, easy.
Then the road tax and the Japanese side. So, I mean, it happens. But man, it's risk and reward, and it's like, you gotta, a lot of people don't realize with the business stuff, man. Like I tell everybody, and again, why I'm very firm on my thing, man, is like I can't afford to lose time, man. Like I'm a single business guy that, I mean, I got a guy today. I mean, I'm out $120 because some dude rolled in town, like I was talking about before, and he just like, I mean, even though I can sell those pads tonight. Yeah. So if you think he like, got me for money, I'm like, dude, I just sell them or whatever. Yeah. But it's like that. But that was $120. That's not gonna make or break me. I mean, it's nice to have, but I would if it was like $500. No, I don't actually. That's my limit. Yeah. If it's over $100 and it's and I got your car on the lift, I will go ahead and get it because that $100 is not gonna make or break my business. But that's my limit. Yeah. $100. So if it's $130, I need the money before I order it because if I would buy parts up front every time, dude, again, I wouldn't make it a year. And they come in here, Japanese guys do not understand it because they're used to paying everything at the end. Yeah. Everything. Labor parts. I'm like, sorry, buddy. I need $4,000 before we get started. And the labor, if it's over $4,000, I need half of that. If it's under that, I'll be fine getting in on the end. I can make up for that. But it's a little, I mean, so far, man, I think I've done pretty good. I haven't in 4 years, approaching 4 years, like off the top, I think I maybe lost about basically just off not saying something or I think I probably lost maybe in just like, scratches and shit. Probably maybe $3,500 to $4,000 out of pocket. Yeah. And I mean, that's not bad, man. In retrospect to how much money like the government loses when people crash GOVs. Right. So, I mean, I think I'm doing pretty good to only lose out of pocket or pay out of pocket for something. And actually, the big sum was not really paying anything. It was labor. The guy had bought an engine from a company that I recommended, and it turns out I changed my policy. I put the engine in. He was PCSing, and I started the car up, and it fucking was blowing white smoke. So because they already had a bad time with the last company, which you probably know the guy's name. Yeah. Everybody got a page dedicated to this guy. So they already had a bad taste in their mouth about that. So they started directing their anger towards me. I'm like, look, man, I just ordered the fucking engine and put it in there. Yeah. So I was like, look, because I didn't tell you this about the used engine, I'm going to eat this because that's what a business person should do. Right. Because you don't say, well, fuck off and leave. I could have did that. So I was like, you know what, man, I'll take the whole engine wasn't broken. It was just a head. Right. So I was like, all right, man, I got another head. Yeah. I just took my head off of there. Just put the fucking engine in there. It's twin turbos, a lot of stuff to do. So all in all, overall, it was to do what I did. If I would have charged him that, it would have been $3,200.
Right.
So I ate it and I did it in 2 days.
Yeah.
So like, he was like, thanks, man. This, that, and that went from that guy like, I mean, I did lose the money, but at the same time,
got that goodwill.
Yeah, he was like, hey man, he hooked me up. He didn't have to do this, and it started an influx of more customers coming. Right. So I got the money back actually.
Yeah,
but it was just a mistake I made in policy. So now it's like, my main policy is if I don't build an engine, I'm not putting it in. If you're adamant about me putting the engine in, if I start that engine and there's anything wrong, I mean, I can see signs. You can see like, it doesn't crank or open the camshaft. I mean, if it looks like, black as hell, is probably bad.
Right, right.
But if it looks all golden inside, it doesn't have any metal flakes, everything's good to go. So if I put the engine in and it rattles, knocks, whatever, you're going to pay me the money that I charge, or I keep the car. Right. It's that simple. Yep. So to avoid those situations, man, I just kind of, I put it out there up front. And it's, I mean, again, I haven't made too many mistakes, but you're going to make some mistakes with the business thing. But again, the same thing I like to say with the market, man. It's like, I think when people buy in, they just think they're going to buy in the first time and it's going to be you're going to make money right away.
Never expect it to go that way.
So I just think that's the best way to go about that, man. Yeah. So what do you got as far as you talk about the land and everything. Like for the land, are you just buying that in hopes that somebody else will want to buy it from you? Or?
I'm buying it at such a low price that it's stupid for other people to turn away from it. Like if I not even that. It's I pretty much go out and I look at the market. See, they have sites, Land and Farm. I can't remember all the name of the sites now. It's been a while since I was digging into that stuff. But
you started.
This was back in 2017 when I was buying that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, because I remember you started talking about that right after. A little bit. You mentioned it when I was opening this shop. So it was 2006, 2015.
Yeah. So that's probably When it probably was. And then when I actually bought in, it was like 2000. It was December 16, and then in 2000, I think it was 2017. Might have been 2016. I actually started buying the land, and that was pretty much just. I live in Japan, so I've been in Japan the whole time when I was buying this land. I just pretty much I have accounts that I can see the county data for who owns land and what size land and that kind of stuff. So I pretty much just threw out offers to a bunch of people. And from all those offers that I sent out, I got enough people to come back and say, yeah, I'll sell you my land for that price. The price that I gave them was like half of what the going rate is on those sites for the same comparable land. So I'm looking at one county, and out of that county, I bought 50 acres of land for half of the going rates for like the lowest selling land on any of those sites. So if I sell that land for those going rates, it was actually less than that. I think it was maybe like getting closer to like 30% of the value. Right. So if I turn around and sell that land for 50%, I'm still like doubling my value.
And you pay, like when you buy your land outright, only thing you pay is the tax. Or
I'm buying the land from the people, and hopefully the taxes are free and clear. So since I've been holding the land, usually you shouldn't hold the land while you're doing this stuff, but yeah, there's taxes you have to pay, and it's like $70 per 5 acre plot of land or something like that. So maybe I'm spending $700 a year for those fees, and I should be able to make plenty of money back on top of that once I sell it. I just have to get off my butt and actually put it up and sell it now. But
I mean, you're already
get the marketing out there. You can pretty much go on Facebook, and they have groups that have vacant land type groups, and you can just post up, I've got this plot of land. Here's the APN that identifies that land. If you go on the county website, you can see it. Zoom in on it on Google Maps, get images from Google Maps with a new flyover look and that kind of stuff. So you can actually make videos that look pretty and be like, yep, this is where your land is right there. Yeah. And you can also see the mountain off to the side here. You got the Rio Grande over there because I'm in Colorado. Yeah. And so this
is in Colorado. I wish I had somebody speaking of that. I wish I knew someone in Detroit, like knew, because I guess the dudes, they're Detroit, you look on a thing, these houses are selling for like $1,200.
Yeah, but it's bad. Yeah, you don't want to buy any of those. That's what the guy that actually that heads up the how to buy and sell the land. He's from Detroit. Yeah, and he pretty much says you do not want to do anything with Detroit.
Because if you buy $1,200, who's going to buy the house? Who's going to rent?
Not even that. I think the taxes that are associated with those plots of land are crazy.
So that's what they get you.
They will pay you to take their land pretty much. Right. Because they have no reason to want this land anymore.
So I knew it was something new. So the house to buy the house is $1,200, but all the shit.
I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah, there's some other
and then,
things.
Then they count the maintenance to bring it back up the code and stuff like that.
No,
so.
I mean those houses are probably full of squatters too. And what's the ordinance in that city for people that are already occupying space? Are you allowed to forcibly remove them?
Yeah,
like you could have people renting a house and they'd be squatting, and I think a lot in Cali they do that, where people will be like, nope, I already got the keys here, I'm good, I'm not moving. And then they actually have laws on the books that you cannot push a person out of a house that you own.
No shit.
It's like, hold on, how's that work? I didn't even dig into it because I'm not trying to buy any houses. And rent them out to crazy people.
Like I didn't even. All I heard was $1,200 house, and then it kind of like, all right, I got engines to build, so I didn't even. Yeah. I knew it was like
there's some extra pieces.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I knew, like, because one guy, he did. He posted up and he was like, well, you got the house at 12 and he spent $40K bringing it up to code. And
right.
I mean, the house was actually a decent area.
Mm-hmm.
There were a bunch of abandoned houses and he did it for his mom.
Right.
So it was like he did it. He didn't do it to
other
sell
reasons.
it.
Yeah.
He did it. He pretty much paid $1,200 for it, paid $40K in it. Now she has a house paid for.
So the reason why I looked into land versus houses are something that can get caught on fire and they can burn down. Yeah. You have all these different things that could possibly be wrong when you're buying a house. When you're buying that house, say for $290,000, then you're trying to sell it for $300,000. Mm-hmm. It's something that you can't, what do you call it? Just like exponentially keep doing it over and over again. You have to find the house to do that. For land, if you find a 5-acre plot of land, there's more 5-acre plots of land in certain areas that you go around for. So when I threw that out there, I was like, all right, cool. I have this much money that I'm ready to spend on this. I want to buy this size plot of land. And then I can pretty much figure out, okay, this is how much money I'm going to make on the backside as long as I can get people that will accept this price.
Right.
I just had to get in front of those people, where most people that buy and sell houses are going on the MLS. It's the listing spot for housing people, and the real estate agents actually get eyes on that first before anybody sees it. So if you look on the MLS, guess what? There's been like 20 to 30 to 40 people, hundreds of people have seen that already. If it's really a good deal, they would have already bought it. Right. Because that many people have already seen it. When I do my offers, I find out from the county who owns all of the plots of land in this county at this size. And I send a letter to all of them before they're even talking about selling it. So I'm getting in front of them before they even think about selling their land. So I'm the first person to talk to them a lot of the time.
Right.
So that's where I'm in front of everybody else. So if it's a good deal, I just got it.
Right.
Because they didn't even know they were going to sell it until they were like, oh, wait, you just got this letter.
So we
didn't really want this land anyway. We keep getting a bill for every month or every year that we have to pay taxes on it. And we've been paying taxes, but we don't need this thing. We thought we were going to build a house on it however many 20 years ago. And we've been paying every year taxes and it drains on them. And they're like, oh, cool. I'll take $900 for my land.
That's what I was going to say. So do you, when you contact them, are you contacting them with an offer, or you wait for them to offer first?
No, I give them a number.
Okay.
And I don't say, yeah, give me a call if you want to talk it over. I might say something about that on there, but if they call me and they're like trying to dick around the price, I'm like, yeah, what plot of land are you talking about? Cool. Let me look at that for a while. What price do you want for it? All right, got it. I'll give you a call back in 3 to 5 days. But most of the people just get back with me and they're like, oh yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And then the way I do it, since I'm in Japan, is I go get I think I was doing like a bank money order before. So it's a cashier's check that they can go ahead and cash at any of their banks. I contact a mobile notary in their area, and I call that person up and I say, hey, I'll give you $50 if you will catch this title that I'm about to send you, that I can make the titles by myself at my house on my computer. I'm going to send you a title. You need to go to this location and talk to the person in that area. And they may not even be in Colorado. It might be I had a guy in Las Vegas. I had some other person in like Bonita Springs, Florida. I had different places like that. So I would actually get a mobile notary in each of those places. I would pay them $50 to go to that person with 2 pieces of paper, get them to notarize, stamp, signed. Once they signed it and handed it back to the notary hands them the money order. They have the money in their hand. They're done. They've been paid. They now send me that registered title back. I send that to the county. The county puts it in my name. I'm done.
That's it.
So, and then on the other side, whenever I start selling these, I don't even have to send them anything. What's your information? Got it. Make the title, sign the title, get it notarized here on base at the legal office, send it into the county. It's in their name. Done. And they've already sent me the money. However, they need to go around doing that. So that takes some steps out, and you can do this with hundreds of acres. So you can make $300,000 in one transaction. And if you bought that land for $150,000, now you sold it for $300,000, versus this guy that just bought a house for $290,000. He's trying to sell it for $300,000. That's where I'm like, yeah, I think this is a better way to do it.
Like,
and I don't have to worry about the house burning down. I don't have to worry about cleaning up the house, fixing up the house, all those things. I don't have to worry about a real estate agent, because I'm putting the title together myself, sending it to the county. I'm done. Boom, boom. So that's why these are things that in the future I'm going to be okay. I'm pretty sure I'm going to figure out ways to make this work. Because then I'm going to take that money where I just made that $150,000. Now I'm going to throw it into Apple, because the stock just went down to 50%. In the next few years, it's going to go up 20%. So I'm doubling my money out the gate with the land. Then I'm going to make 20% of my money every single year going forward. And then I'm going to sell options against my money, against my accounts too. So while I'm making that 20% a year, I'm making the basis. So I spent 150,000. Say right now, Apple stock is what, 250, I think, something like that. So that's a funny number. So say it was $150 per share. If I'm putting 1,000 shares down, cool, I'm selling 10 contracts out into the future, and I want to sell it for 160 if it gets to that point. If it doesn't, I get to keep the money that I made from that. So you can keep reducing the money that you're spending. Just keep finding out ways to churn your money down, and you can make good money in the world. There's little pipe dreams and things that are possible, and things for the future. And
I'm definitely gonna get. I mean, because again, man, it's kind of like one of those things where you just keep saying, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Just get started, man. And you'll eventually, it's like kind of getting like a new piece of software. It's like, oh man, the new software looks like the interface looks challenging. But once you get it, you get into it, you fumble around, deal with it, you use it, then bam, like 2 weeks later, you're like you're mastering it and everything, man. You can pretty much write your own program off of it. But there's a lot of options out there, man. And then one of the final things, like you say, I wanted, because we kind of putting this on my head mentally. The houses, and we just talked about the houses in America. Now, like being in Japan, like one thing I did before I got my business, the first thing we were looking at first was to buy land. And I did see land that was like 10K. But I was telling her, my wife said, 10K. Team, like, okay, like 10K. Then what? You got to fucking put a building there. You got to put like that's why, like, when I get the last place, everybody's calling me stupid because it was $1,200 a month. I'm like, dude, I got to get in the door, and once I get in the door, I can figure things out. And then this, 3 years later, I find this place for $800 a month. So people like, I'm like, dude, like, I mean, this actually was available, but it was a gate around it. I don't know if you realize, it used to be a gate around it the whole time. So it looked like somebody was already in it, but there was nobody here since 2002. So there's somebody was using the office out there, but nobody. This whole thing was vacant since 2002. The calendar say 2002. So it's one thing I see like about 3 months ago. There's a ton of abandoned houses in Japan. And it was like, that is like, they're saying they're selling from cheap. So, but I think it's like the same thing. Or you're selling for cheap, or what's the land tax like? And what's the other stipulations that come with those houses? Another thing, other than ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. Your wife's never going to want to buy that because there's ghosts in it. There's got to be ghosts in it, and Japan doesn't deal with that stuff. So most of the people that buy a vacant house in Japan are buying it to bulldoze it and then build over because they only wanted the land.
So you buy the house and the land attached to it.
If they buy that plot, then they're buying it to bulldoze the house because there's probably ghosts in it. And they're going to build over it once the priest comes out and blesses the land and makes sure.
So what we're talking about, guys, out there is most of those houses are vacant because somebody either was killed in there or suicide. And even in Misawa, there's a house. Juju. There's a house where is a skyline in front of it, and like the skyline is sitting in the driveway, but I guess the person killed himself. And the guy showed it to me, Shinobu was like, nah, I'm not helping you with that. I was like, dude, we can get the car and sell it. She's like, nah, I don't want to deal with that because it's all gated up. It looks like a beginning of a horror story. It's like leaves and shit, and the foliage is piling up, and
the ring just broke all of Japan.
So the Japanese are very for the guys out there, just like what we're talking about. Japanese are one of the countries is very very superstitious. Like even our house, when we got the other house, it was vacant for a while, and she was trying. I've been there. The house is 8 LDK. So it's pretty. You never been to my new house, but it's pretty nice size, man. Pretty nice. We're renting. We want to buy, but the guy is playing. So he's
hoping he always play the games.
So we're hoping he would want to sell. We ask him like every other year. But anyway, she had a friend come over, and a friend like walk around like I feel like a little bit of stuff, but it's cool. But we went to some other house. She was like, nah, she feels something. I'm like, man,
her tarot cards are stating that there's.
I'm like, she's a fucking snack club hostess. Like, what he's like, yeah, like I mean, she's not gonna watch this, but it's like she work at a snack club. She
competes with Filipinas and Russian girls.
Yeah, exactly.
This person for?
Like, dude, it used to be Carlos's girlfriend, but seriously, true story. Like, really.
With bruises on her legs, probably.
So I'm like, dude, like, whatever, man. So like, I'm like, I've been in the house by myself, like, and I'm like, it's 8:00. I'm in my room. I mean, at my house, I got a studio, almost same thing.
Layout,
and I'm like getting her Netflix and shit. I'm like, if there's some ghosts out there, cool, they can come in and watch shit or whatever, man.
It's fine.
So
Casper, come on in.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I want to. We could definitely gonna do this again, man.
Yeah,
I got to get to the house and help her out with some stuff, and I'm pretty sure it's all gonna be there, whenever. Yeah. But yeah, man, I this is exactly what I want to talk to you about, because I knew you were really deep into the stock stuff, and I mean, I learned a lot of stuff just by again, because I thought I had the idea that I was gonna take a spare $6K and put it in 10 different things. And it makes sense to put it in one or two.
Just figure
things.
out what you want to deal with, and then you can kind of figure it out. And I can help you out with things too if you start figuring things out. And because I'm still learning every day. I got like 10 different stock books out in the card.
But I mean, I think it's better to just like you said, that guy earlier, man. He was asking me all those questions. You're probably like listening, like, I should do this and go to this forum, like. Dude, I do this for a living. Yeah, those guys do it on a weekend and they fuck stuff up, and then they learn the FSM. That is written by the dudes, the engineers at Nissan. Like, they kind of know what they're talking about, man. Like that.
Same as the Air Force. You got to go by the TO.
The TO is there.
You did not diverge from the TO.
Like, I mean, if it says thread lock, put it on there. Yeah. And it's also green, red, blue. There's different colors, so you can't put red on blue, and it's stuff like that, man. It's like it's right there, but people just want to take shortcuts, and I've done it before, again, on my own cars, and those shortcuts always result in wasting money, wasting time, blowing shit up, breaking stuff when you knew it wasn't the right way to do it, man. So I think if you do things properly, even with my business, man, like I tell everybody, I sleep well every night when I do sleep, because I'm not screwing anybody over, and we know guys who do in this town. Yeah, and
it kind of helped me motivate me to get somebody else started out as much as I could. Man, you need something. Let's do this, because this town needs some better things.
Yeah, so it's and people see, and it's like not even. I stay in my lane, I do my thing, and it's like the people speak, man. I don't do any advertising on base. Yeah, it's the people see it, and again, the only bad thing you hear is like some people's like, oh man, he's too aggressive. I'm like, it's not that I'm aggressive. I am.
You're very direct. You're direct.
Yeah, I'm direct. And even like, it's like, dude, like,
let's not.
Again, down there, man. You were there, and he was like, it's a rust. I'm like, do you want it or not, dude? Before I pull this off, I can put it back. I can give you the spark plugs. You can go. Right. And when I hit guys like that, they always, oh no, I'll take it, because they're expecting me to be like, oh well, like, it's Masawa, dude. If you go outside for 10 minutes. With a piece of bare metal, it's going to start rusting in your hand. Yep. Like, it's Masawa, man. So
anything that doesn't rust is going to get moldy.
Yeah, pretty much, man. That shit's everywhere, man. So, but yeah, man, it's definitely we're definitely going to do some more podcasts and stuff on there, and the more in the future. It's like if there's like a major crash or shit like that, I probably want to talk to you after everything goes to see how what happens during the crash, because the thing about it seems like it doesn't affect you until you're making a certain amount of money, you're in the market, you're a business owner, because most guys out there who are just living their life aimlessly, they already don't have money for whatever reason. They're lazy. Yeah. Their situation.
They got other priorities.
Yeah, other priorities of buying, like, when they do get money, they buying dumb shit, buying tennis shoes. Yeah. Nothing against that shit, but I'm like, dude, I pretty much, my whole wardrobe is, I got this from my mom 2 years ago. My shirts is stuff that I get from my other company buddies, because I don't wear anything. Nothing against it, but I don't wear anything. I'm not going out and buying. I wanted jerseys and stuff like that. Yeah. And when you got the money and you can afford it, cool. Yeah. But when you don't have cash and you're looking to build up to something,
you gotta
taking that money,
prioritize things.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I don't need those Timberlands. I don't need those Jordans. I don't need this. I don't need that, man. It's and as a result, man. And then I got my cars, which people didn't realize I was getting all those cars. I was collecting them, but they've been like liquid assets. Yeah. Like when I need, like I've been, so pretty much the last 3 months, I've been surviving on selling my cars. Yeah. Yeah. And my wife's like, oh, you sold a car. That's $2,000. I sold it and got it back.
Yeah.
And I didn't pay for it. The guy just like his business partner. He knows he sees me working. He knows I don't sleep.
Yeah.
He know I'm good for it. So he's like, dude, I got to test the roaster. I don't have nowhere to park it.
Yeah.
So he's
Test
like,
this back.
yeah. So he's like, take this back or whatever, man. So and I took it to MSP today. So it's you know what I mean, I think again, man, I just looking out there, talking with you about things, you know, investing and stuff like that, and then also, man, like. Because it's weird to have like the guy that, you know, most guys don't even talk to their investors after they invest. They just like, all right, hey, pay me money back, whatever, or they borrow more money. Yeah. And you know, most people out there, man, guys out there is kind of like, you know, insight for you guys, man. When you get into borrowing, because business, like one thing for me, man, because again, it was such a hard thing to do, to take loans from somebody else, because I didn't want to be on, you know, felt like I was under somebody. And so the thing about business is that's part of business. And even when you pay those loans back, it was like I told Carlos, once I pay those back, man, it's like you get into situations where you're going to borrow bigger, because you're making more money. So you got more money coming in, so you can afford to borrow bigger. Yeah. So you're going to borrow bigger. So I've already applied for and got some Japanese loans on a low scale to test. Yeah. And, you know, I've done some other stuff, man, where, you know, just to sustain the business. Once they see my tax after 3 years, I apply for another one, which was a little bit up. I got that one. I actually paid it back. So they're seeing me pay it back. So now when I go, probably going to be, I'll wait after this fiscal year is done. Probably February, I'll go back again, because it'll start. It's kind of bad to get a loan right now because it's ending, the year's ending. You know, that stuff. And then, so I told her we'll go try again and see if we can get a bigger loan. And, you know, I tell her, look, man, business is debt. Yeah, America's in debt, trillions of dollars.
But that's another thing that you were talking about, though. Look, you were looking at buying this place, not having to pay the rental. Yeah, then you're going to have something liquid that you can take loans against. So that would be great once you get into that boat.
Yeah, right now he's this landlord is very 180 from the last guy. Yeah, very cool guy. We had a little. He didn't know I was actually legit. I never showed him my license. Yeah. So he one day he came in and he was like, well, because the stipulation was I came here kind of out of the blue. So he was parking this one car here, which is a $45,000. Yep. That car. Yeah, the small. Yeah, so he's parking it in a corner. This whole thing was that little ass car in a box. And so he was like, well, I didn't build a garage because I have a whole fucking thing. So he didn't build a garage at his house. Smart. Yeah. So he's like, well, do you mind if I park my car here while I build a garage? I was like, you know, cool. But then he came in. He's like, oh, actually, can you move these oil drums? I'm like, dude, you said this little garage spot with that fucking boat. Yeah. They used to be his mom's. And then I had my oil drums over there, which was like off to the side. Then I'm like, it pissed me off, man. Cause I'm like, man, this shit again, man. Right. And I had her come in. I was irate, man. I was no shit. Like, and he had to kind of see that because he didn't know like who he was dealing with. Yeah. Well, not saying who, but like, he didn't, you know, he probably, because it was all, thought it was a hobby for you. It was all smiles. I'm like, look, man, I'm paying taxes. Right. I'm doing this shit. And then he understood because he never asked.
It's a real business.
Yeah. He thought it was some weak
game thing. Yeah.
Because when I moved in, I was still at the other shop. Yep. So I was only coming here Saturday and Sunday because I was still working on customer cars. Right. So when he's like, oh, this guy just,
cool. I'm getting $800 for weekends.
I'm like, nah, brother, this is, I showed him my tax. Then he see my tax and my thing. He's like, Soka. He said it. Yeah. He didn't know I was a real business. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm paying taxes. Yep. So that happened. And then the last thing is the lot behind the building. Yep. He had
a lump on the price.
Yeah. And then I was like, I told her, and that's, again, I watch a lot of the business stuff, and the dude, he was like, don't say yes right away. Because it's power. I mean, it's like,
can be able to negotiate.
So he was like, well, how about this much? And I was like, no, straight up no, Johnny. So he told her no, and then I waited 2 weeks. Yeah. And then I was like, how about this? And actually, I'm glad I said no right there, because after about 3 hours, I thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute. I want to pay this much money for something I can only use half the year. Yep. Because it's going to fucking snow.
It's good to marinate on things and be able to figure out all your
even emails. Your arguments like, I'll put it in a draft. Like if I'll send it in the morning, if I still feel like that, let me, you know, because I'll send some emails out that's killed business because I had to let that person know. But anyway, man, I was like, look, I'll pay this much between November 15th. I don't know why I said 15th, but the snow tire shit. Yeah. So I said November 15th. I said November 15th. She's like, why that day? I was like, whatever.
Snow is coming. I was like, the base has dictated snow is coming that day.
November 15th and April, I'll pay this much. You know, $100. Yeah. I'll give you this much between April 15th and November 15th,
Yeah.
I'll pay because it's summertime. I can actually use it.
Yep.
So he's like, all right, cool. And he agreed to it. And she was like, oh, wow. I'm like, yeah, this is business. And even though we don't speak the same language, when we talking, body language, and he knows he's a businessman.
Right,
he runs Daiku.
Okay.
He runs a fucking construction company.
Okay. Yeah.
So he got employee staff. The dude makes money. He got a fucking Abrams that he drives on Saturdays only.
That's why he didn't have it sold since 2002 because he doesn't really care.
Yeah, he didn't.
Now he's getting some extra money, so he shouldn't have too much.
Seemed like the last guy. That's why he was like a dick, and I thought he was the owner. Come to find out, he's the son of the owner. So he was actually on a scale of things. I mean, yeah, he has more money at his disposal, but I own that business was my own. That's in my name.
Yeah.
So on a scale of things, even though he has more money than me, I still own like.
Well, we're in Japan. Yeah. So if he's older than you, you must respect him all times.
Yeah. I was like, fuck that, man. Like I'm like, it's a respect thing, but no, he's not gonna. You know, when my customers are parking over the line because they don't know and I can't catch a fast enough. You don't call my wife. You're talking
about the old school. Yeah. That last place.
You don't call my wife. You come over here and hey, move. Yeah. And then his employees are, giving me shit or just looking at me weird. Like, man, fuck this. And then after I left, dude, I again, trends. The day I told this guy I'm getting this shop, I was like, I told her to tell him, but she fucking didn't tell him because she felt like it was being like mean. I said, don't, I was like, can you please keep this between us? He fucking, the same night, because she mentioned that we were at Manami, whatever. The same fucking night, he calls him doing homework because I mean that's what smart people do. Yeah. He's like, "How's this guy? I never missed a payment. Almost made my stuff on time." So he asked him that, and then the next day we did the contract. So we went in the next day, and then like they had a meeting. Dude, they all went home at 1400. The whole business shut down. Yeah. Because he already knew I was gonna leave. He pretty much docked their pay. Yeah, dude. So,
everybody's getting a pay cut.
Yeah, so that $1,200 or Genie Mine,
the gravy train is pulling away.
When I got the business there, they got 2 or 3 new employees. So, dude, like they were all like kind of look at me and scoff and shit. Yeah. Then when I left, they kind of like, fuck, man, that $1,200. Man. So now
we should have been nice to that guy.
They probably lost $1,200 split, 3 or 4 ways. That's probably $200 bonus. So, dude, there was no overtime because they were all going.
So they lost their cola.
They lost everything. They lost everything, man. I'm like, look, man, that's what you did because I told them, I'm like, hey, man, this is $1,200 a month. I'm paying every time one time, and there's no chance of this being like lowered. You know what I mean? Because I was like $1,200 a month for like the spot. I mean, when it's empty, it looks huge. When you start moving stuff in, I'm like, fuck, man. This is getting packed already. And, and actually when Wish comes there before, it looked like it was small because he had junk everywhere. Yeah. So I was like, all right, and then, it was cool, man. It was a good starting spot. But the, man, here, if I outgrow this place, man, I'm doing exponentially good, man. Yeah. If I outgrow, this is a large spot.
Lots of space to spread your wings.
And honestly, the way I'm setting it up, man, like I'm doing a paint, because that's money, he said I can modify the building as I want. Right. Any modifications, I don't got to act. He said as long as I keep the shit in code and I don't like put a fucking hole in the roof. Yeah. He said I can.
Skylights.
Yeah. He said I can do. He said I can pretty much do because if I do that, they're gonna come inspect ordinance anyway. Like the electrical, they're gonna do the power. When I did the 220 volt, they did the shit. They put it down. It was actually active, but they said I couldn't use it. Okay. So the guy come in. He went like this. Are you good? Like this motherfucker went like this. He looked at it, looked at that. All right, gave me a thumbs up. I'm like, that's the ordinance inspection. Okay. I'm like, shit, man.
Somebody got paid off. It's fine.
Yeah, man. I don't know who Yakuza, who not, but it's just seeing the one thing I know is kind of saying all that shit to say this, man, is I told my wife too. I'm like, taxes is taxes in fucking Japan, Europe, Papua New Guinea. If they pay taxes there. Taxes is taxes, business is business. Right. Only difference is different languages. And that's why she's shocked that I'm able to run, even though I don't speak Japanese. Like, she's shocked that I'm able to survive. I'm like, dude, because it's either you got it or you don't.
Yeah. Cops ain't trying to kill everybody over here, so you're not going to be as bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, like,
cops will be behind you with their lights on. And you're just keep driving. That means I got to drive faster because these guys are.
Yeah, and they like, they go around you and shit like, dude, what the fuck you doing, man? Like, but yeah, man, it's like, and then the whole Yakuza thing, that's real. but you got to be making a crazy amount of money for them to even get on that radar.
Yeah,
but when you do, I have Yakuza friends, so it's like you gotta if somebody one thing out there if somebody presses you, and you'll mention like, hey, I know this guy. Oh, you know that guy? Then that's you.
Yeah,
but if you don't
you
know
gotta pass. We'll let you in.
Because I know the guy who used to be one of the bosses, man.
Yeah,
so I at first I'm like, this fuck's this crazy old man, and he's like, oh, cool, and he likes gaijins.
Yeah.
My wife was like, yeah, he was high up there. So then some guy came in, and he was a fucking fake Yakuza, man.
Yeah.
So he kind of was acting, doing all this stuff.
GPI.
Yeah. He was doing all this stuff, and I was like, oh, you know this guy. I don't want to say his name. I'm like, you know this guy? Oh, yeah, I know him. I was like, yeah, we just had a barbecue. Then he just kind of like all that shit he was trying to do. Like, I mean, he wasn't trying to press me, but he was trying to act like,
like he's badass.
Yeah. Then he chilled out.
Yeah.
So then when I was like, I was about to tell him like, hey man, calm, because he spoke a little bit of English. I was already saying, dude, calm the fuck down, man. Like, I'll beat your ass.
Yeah.
Like pretty much. And then I mean, even though I won't because I'll go to jail. Even though he probably like, I'm like, dude, all right, I got to do work because he was trying to hang out.
Yeah.
He came 2 days in a row.
Okay.
And he was trying to like find a hangout spot because he actually got booted out of the other guy we talked about. He got booted out of there because he was stealing shit. My wife was like, he steals stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I know I'm like, hey, go Minasai, but hang out Janai.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. And then he shook my hand and never came back.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not. That's why I'm like, the other guy probably didn't. He's like, oh yeah, cool, and then talk shit about him. Like, look, man, there's no hangouts here.
Yeah.
Even like the guy down there, he was like, he was like, oh, you just hanging out? I was like, nah, he's here for a podcast. Because like I was like, because he was like, oh, you let people hang out there.
This is down. This is cool.
I just don't, man. Man, people like are probably too uptight, but it's like, dude,
right.
I think my thing is if you let stuff go, and don't catch it, it's just gonna get worse and worse, and it just, hey man, no, I don't do that, or I do this, and it is what it is, man. So I don't know, man. I'm not gonna change. It's just what it is. No, I'm not wrong. It's just I don't want to get into the point where I should have said this, and then now we're step 5 when that could have been killed at step 1. And then now we got issues and misunderstandings, and you should have said this,
right?
And I've had to get in the customer's ass because I have said that, and they were just so preoccupied with PCSing and all this other shit, with the car shipping stuff. And I'm like, look, I told you this verbatim, and it's on the paper. And one guy, I'm like, did you read the paper? He reads the paper, no response, because everything he's saying that I didn't say, it's in fucking black and white. In writing. Just like your TOs, just like the AFIs.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not above being wrong, but I go out of my way to make sure I'm not, because generally being wrong in this line of business means you're going to be paying money.
Right.
So it's like I just make sure, man. So
you don't need the costs.
Yeah, man.
Non-essential costs. You got kids.
Yeah,
life.
Yeah.
You don't got time for that craziness.
And they're growing fucking fast too, man. How old are your kids?
10 and 13.
Shit. They probably feel like it was fast, or
kind of a little bit of a blur.
Are they like by that age, man? Are you like cruise control, like, or do you still got to like?
There's a little bit of neediness. Sometimes they got their things that they have to do, so it gets busier with essential things. I went to Tawada last night. Yeah, hung out there for an hour and a half while Louis was doing his little JUCO after school Zimmy, seminar thing, whatever. And then Kay's got right down the street from here, or it's that way. You got the little school with the boat out front of it. Yeah. I didn't see that boat until last night, the night before last night, I think, when I dropped him off. He had karate over there, and then I thought about your boat out here too.
We're talking about
must be a neighborhood thing.
The boat right down here.
It's a school.
Oh yeah,
it's a school right there. So you got the big yard, the big playground thing, and then like right next to it is a boat, and then it's the building of the school.
Yeah, I seen it. I was like driving, like, man, dude. I didn't know what's funny as shit, man. It's like playing GTA, because it's like you get that car in GTA. Yeah. Then like when I never seen one of those until I seen it, and then now I just see them. They're just upside downwards, where they're just like, dude, this. You can tell me because the port's right here.
Yeah. So that's why you've got all these boats around here, because you're right next to the port.
So this used to be this right here was a fishing thing, and actually. That in the back, when I showed you back there, there used to be the fucking ocean's right there over the trees. So I guess there used to be when I walk back there, there's like it goes straight to the water.
Yeah. So you just drop the boat right in.
Yeah. So they were, I'm guessing they used to take the boat back there, and then they would go down a little path. Maybe it was even a stream there once.
Yeah.
and they would go out there and do their thing and then come back. So all they used this place was just a fish processing center.
Yep.
So they used it here. That's why I only had 110 volts, because you don't need 200 volts to zap fish or whatever. Right. Anyway, man. But hey, man, like I said, we'll keep talking, man. But
yeah.
Hey, guys out there again, man. I've been wanting to get Joel on for a while again. You know, there's a lot of things that led up to me getting this business started and things like that. But again, Joel was one of those guys in the beginning who invested into the company. It was a small sum of cash, but it was enough to secure the building at the time. Because again, if I didn't get that building, he was BSing me like they were going to buy it out and stuff like that. And you never know when people are bluffing. Mm-hmm. So I got with Joel. We talked, for 10 minutes or so. We already talked before that. So he was like, all right, cool. What's the account number? He sent it over and I paid. And then that amount of cash, man, was, it's like, I guess if you have like 10K or 15K or whatever, and you think that's like not a lot of money, man, if you could flip that money, if you're willing to invest in things and do things, you can actually take that a lot further. So if you're out there, you want to get into car exporting, which everybody's trying to do, be careful with that, because there's a lot of rules and stuff, and you lose a lot of money. So if you don't have insurance on the car and stuff like that, so you can take, sell your car for 20K. Get with me, buy a Supra, and then you buy that one car. That one car turns into 5 cars. 5 cars turns into 10 cars, and that's how you have Lawsons everywhere that you go. Because there was one Lawsons, now you go in Tokyo, there's a Lawsons everywhere. So there's always going to be growth everywhere. Just you got to get started. If you're looking to get into this business, it's not for everybody, because you're going to lose money, you're going to lose time. You're going to get into business ventures where you're going to get into not a failed business, but you're going to spend money and think this will work, and then you got a machine that nobody uses, or you're going to do this and nobody's going to do that. So you're going to lose. Some ideas are going to work, some are not going to work. But if you don't do any shit, you don't do anything. Like Carlos, we were making fun of Joel a little bit about the PDAs and the tablets and the different things that since I've known him, he was like, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. The thing about him, man, is again, he's already good enough like normally, so you're taking that extra cash that your family doesn't need, and you're putting it into something else that can grow into something else, man. So again, the options are out there. With the internet, PayPal, all these different places that you can. PayPal's changing with their stats and the amount of money they take percentages. eBay is not a friend of mine anymore because their rates and fees are ridiculous. So you don't need. You can get a BigCommerce and sell your stuff directly in your own store, and then use Amazon and all those stores like that. So there's options out there, and if you're looking at e-commerce, just study on that stuff. And that's what this is pretty much about, again, because this is a car channel. I mean, we talk about anything, but again, when you need to buy cars, you need money. That's straight up and down. So if you can take some of that spare money, invest it into your things, you can maximize that your funds and get more shit. Yep. So that's how easy, man. So anything else? Any closing remarks?
No. Next time it won't be as much a stream of thought. I'll go ahead and actually have a breakdown.
I mean, actually, this is best, man, because for the part is, I mean, you can bring the numbers, man, but this is it's just it's real. It's not forced. It's not sketch. It's not scripted.
Yeah.
So you get a real more. Yeah, because I think the best advice, man, is like the advice that just comes like is just fluid.
Right.
And then people also, man, you guys see, man, like. He didn't have nothing right here, man, and that's just all the shit he's learned, and he just can regurgitate it because you know it. You can't regurgitate shit without knowing it unless you're like that special kind of person that can bullshit people. You know what I mean? There's people out there that can regurgitate stuff and they don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Kind of like QA. But it's like it's like only military people know what QA is and everything. But
but again, quality assurance in all kind of different parts of the world. But
all right, guys. But all right, guys. Again, thanks for tuning in. It'll be this episode number 29. Again, damn, man. So it's moving along. Just started in February. So we'll be coming back with you all. Pretty much got more guests coming up. It's getting cold and everything. So I'll probably be away sometimes doing things like that. It's actually cold right now. So I'll have a heater here next time. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. It's going to be Donnie signing out and Joel for Pinku Style Massage Japan. See you guys later.
Cool.